Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
Hello.
All right, guys, we are back. There is a lot to talk about, and as Brad said offline, all of it is...
It's dumb. It's all dumb. We're not talking about the fact that there appears to be like satellite evidence and photographic evidence that Russia is committing literal war crimes, which is very scary and tragic and sad. We're not talking about the Biden administration extending the moratorium on student loan repayments.
No, that's on the docket.
Oh, it is on the docket. Oh, it is on the. You must have snuck that in there. I didn't see that on there. So we're going to talk about that. So like that's
one
not
smart thing. One smart thing.
But for all you freeloaders out there, all you moochers who haven't subscribed to premium yet and just listen to the free episodes, you're getting a special treat this week because Jay, for some reason, has decided to lead off the show with This Week in Stupid.
Yeah, I'm front loading this free episode with morons.
Well, we're actually bookending it. Like there's still This Week in Stupid at the back half of the show as well.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much This Week in Stupid on the back end. It's This Week in wow, that guy's even somehow worse than I thought he was. So
who are we talking about? You'll have to pay $5 to find out.
That's it. That's all you gotta pay. Trust me. It's a doozy. It's a hell of a story. I definitely have some thoughts. All right, so let's jump right in. Again, front loading with morons. Sarah Palin will be running for Congress.
Wonder if she'll actually serve out a full term if she gets in.
I mean, that's for nerds. Working your whole job? Get the fuck out of here. Check out my sweet leather jacket.
I did not know that she literally was in the middle of her first term as governor of Alaska when she decided to run for vice president, and then she was just like, see ya, like I lost and I'm just gonna quit as well because there's lots of money that I can make being a talking head. That's it,
and that worked for a little bit, and then people were just like, oh, there's a new moron in town, and then they just pushed her to the side, like she was old news.
Yeah, so Don Young. The dean of the Senate, as he was known, not so young, actually, 88 years old, did what a lot of 88-year-olds tend to do, and died a couple weeks ago. So he's super dead. And I think
super dead.
He's super dead. And at last check, I think there's 40 people in Alaska. 50 that have officially declared to run in a special election for his seat. Alaska, of course, being one of the few states where being the representative in the House actually carries more sway than being a senator, because there's fewer House representatives in Alaska than there are senators, which is
funny.
Really speaks poorly of how we decided to design the Senate, but we got that going for us.
Fucking weird. Here's the thing. When I initially saw this, like, Trump carried Alaska, I think, by 10 points.
Yes.
And all I could think was, oh, okay, Sarah Palin is definitely going to be the new member of the Nutball Caucus in the House. All right, like, this is a slam dunk for her. After reading this article on 538, I don't know, man. I don't know. And there's one major reason why none of us really know whether she's going to be a shoo-in. This is the first year they're doing a new election setup, right? They've got a new voting setup, which is basically a jungle primary. All candidates, regardless of party, will run together in a primary in which each voter will cast one vote, and the top 4 vote getters will advance to the August 16th general election, where voters will pick Alaska's next representative using ranked choice voting. Considering that it's not quite 50, the article actually says it's nearly 50 people running, that doesn't bode well for her because that's a lot more percentages split up, right? Now, granted, she's a huge name, right? So you would assume that she'd be close to the top. But over the last number of years, like, she's popular with Republicans. Like, I think the article says, like, she has like a 63% approval rating from Republicans on a national level, but she only has the exact opposite from Alaskans. Like, they don't actually fuck with her like at all. Like, they're not.
We forget that these politicians that have these that become like national profiles essentially, tend to not like their state tends to not like them as much because they're too busy worried about like catering to this persona and being this national figure,
right,
that they tend to, forget about the state's issues. Like when Palin decided to like leave after she lost with McCain in 2008, Alaska's like, cool. Like we really regret voting for you. So we're perfectly happy to see you,
yeah, nothing of value was lost.
Yeah.
Fucking beat it. Yeah. So it says, October 2021 poll from Alaska survey research found that only 31% of registered voters in Alaska had a favorable view of her. That's not good. So, there's a couple of like sort of bigger names that are running against her. State Senator Joshua Revick, who was a former aide to Young. Tara Sweeney, who you would dislike, Brad, because she's an Inuit. I know that you have a deep-seated hatred for those people for no reason. It's just a joke, everybody. It's a long-standing look-forward joke that Brad, for some random reason, hates Inuits. But Tara Sweeney, who is an Inuit, and they point that out because like there's not a lot of Inuit folks running for Congress. That's why they're putting that there. Yeah. But she served in the Trump administration, so like she's got bona fides of like, I'm a true conservative nutcase, right? Like I'm down for the cause. And then there's another guy, Nick Bijek the third, who was a member of a high profile Alaska political family, who are mostly Democrats, but he is not, apparently. So again, she's not running in a totally open field. It would be quite curious if she lost, I have to say, because that would really show how much her star has fallen since she ran alongside McCain in 2008.
Well, and the telltale, like the way that you can read how the wind is blowing. So, like, I'm waiting to see if Trump endorses her.
He did,
because he did officially. Okay,
like,
that's interesting.
At least earlier he did. I don't know if for this race, I can try to find out, but I want to say he definitely. I mean, he gave her like the seal of approval, like, a while back.
Right, but for this race specifically, because again, he doesn't like to back losers. So like, if he's afraid that she's not going to win, I'd be curious to see if he, vociferously throws his support behind her, especially if someone from his administration is also running in the election. I don't know that person's like how she speaks about Trump, but
no, he endorsed Palin for this seat.
Okay.
So on April 4th, so just 2 days ago.
Oh.
So yeah, he threw his support behind her. So that bodes well for her. However, it's not like Trump's candidates are a lock anymore.
No.
A lot of them lose, right? And I could see a scenario where, like you said, a lot of Alaskans are like, look, you bailed on us when it was time to do your job the last time, in a direct job, right? Like, you are the governor of the state. Like, all of your business is here, not in DC. All of your business is here, and you bailed on us. Why would we trust that you wouldn't completely forget about us once you're in DC, which is far easier. Like, it's far easier to not think about Alaska when you're not even there.
Plus, she also legitimately like became a joke. Like, even in right-wing circles, she became a joke, because it was very clear that when they picked her out, that she wasn't fit to be dog catcher of anywhere, much less, the vice president or a governor or a House representative.
No. And look, I think that she realizes she misses that limelight. Mm-hmm. That's clear, right? Like, I think that's first and foremost. I think the other thing is she has a space now, right? Like, she can join up with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz. Like, all of those people didn't exist on the national level when she ran. Now she's got a team. Like, she's got like Lauren Boebert, quite literally, is nothing but a new version of Sarah Palin. Mm-hmm. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a more sort of violent rhetoric version of Sarah Palin. Matt Gaetz is another version of Sarah Palin. Like she, you know, what's the term? She basically made it. She normalized these just morons, right? These people who do nothing but make inflamed comments and like get people all riled up, but there's no substance behind them. She created that. She normalized that shit in the Republican Party. And now all of those people, now she has brought all of those people in. They are, in rap terms, they're her sons, right? That's what rappers say. They're all her sons. And so now she's like, I got a team of fucking possible, like not necessarily devotees, but like people who think like me. So I wouldn't be the lone moron in the House anymore. Like I got people who like would be by my side, and they're popular. So it makes sense for her to run now. It makes total sense. If she wins, she is going to be another fucking nightmare because all she's going to want to do is be in the limelight and just make money and say stupid shit.
Yeah,
that's it. This is a complete waste of a fucking seat, in my opinion. It's a complete waste.
And not only is it a waste of a seat, but it's if she does get in, Alaskans only have themselves to blame. Like you only have one House representative. You want someone that's going to be there, that's going to be caring about your interests, not just there to, you know, have a vanity position inside the government, which is all that's going to be. So like I said, you want to do that, you go right ahead. Personally, myself personally, I think it would be better to vote for someone that's actually like a competent politician. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it seems pretty obvious to me, but
yeah.
I'm not an idiot. So like, I don't know how idiots think. Like, I feel like if you just want somebody who's going to like stick it to the libs, sure, I guess she's a good choice. But like, you're just like, you're wasting House seats. Like you're wasting one on her, Lauren Boebert, Large Marge, Taylor Greene. You're wasting on her, and you're wasting on Matt Gaetz. That's at least 4 that you've just wasted, right there. And there are more. Madison Cawthorn, like you've our boy Tad, like you've wasted those seats because they are not there to actually get legislation passed.
Well, and even like with Tad, like there's a lot of folks in the Republican Party that are just like, this is a mistake. Like this dude has to go. Like we got to put up someone fucking credible to run against him in a primary because he fucking sucks. And he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing in Congress. Like that's
like
the thing,
keeping his fucking mouth shut while we get out here and bang these hookers and do blow. We are here doing our thing. Shut the fuck up, Cad.
And that's the thing is that these people have put, you know, kind of skewed these positions that to the point that you forget what they're actually there for. Like Matt Gaetz sitting here like yelling at Lloyd Austin during, you know, fucking hearings, acting like he doesn't, you know, acting like he knows what he's talking about, but he sounds like a fucking blathering idiot talking to the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, talking to the Secretary of Defense. That was, I was like, that, like, don't talk to that old black man like that.
Like Lloyd Austin,
black man looked like he wanted to fuck him up.
If looks could kill, Lloyd Austin would have murdered Matt Gaetz.
Yeah.
Like there was one thing where Matt Gaetz said something ridiculous, and I swear to God, like Lloyd Austin paused before he answered for like literally 5 seconds, and the look on his face was just like, I wonder if I could kill him with my bare hands before the sergeant at arms were to remove me from.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. And you should have gone for it. Like that's fine.
But again, like these people have a role in government that they're supposed to play. They're supposed to be there to represent the interests of their constituents, of their district. Say what you will about AOC. Say what you will about her national profile. She's still there doing work for the Bronx. Like that's fucking clear as day when you hear her talk and when you see what she's doing in Congress.
Right. And all of her national perspectives are things that would help the Bronx. She's not out there being like, we need to take people's rights away. We're, like, why are these people existing in reality or in society? She's not saying any of that shit. It's like, we need to help people with student loans. Like, who does that help? That helps Americans in general, but it also helps people in the Bronx.
I've not once heard Large Marge talk about the people in her district. I've never once heard Tad talk about the people in his district, or Matt Gaetz talk about the people in his district.
No, they never do. They never do because it's irrelevant to them.
Right.
By the way, keep that same energy, because when we get to one of these people in the Nutter Caucus, as I like to refer to them, you're gonna wonder like, but what about your constituents, dude? Like it's a wild statement that you made. Like, all right, bro. All right. So yeah, Sarah Palin's running for Congress. Not a guarantee that she's gonna win that. Not a guarantee. I think there is a pretty high guarantee that she makes it to the general, but I don't think it's a guarantee that she wins that.
Yeah, I mean, based on name ID alone, I would think that she would probably be able to crack the top 4. So
I'd love it if she didn't, though. God, that would be super embarrassing for her, and I am 100% here.
Well, and I guess it depends on how dirty they go in on each other, because the problem with ranked choice voting is that if 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat make it in, and the Republicans are like sniping each other hardcore, like Republicans might be like, yeah, like I'll vote for my Republican, but my second choice or my third choice is going to be the Democrat. And then all of a sudden, like you might get to like round 2, round 3 of the voting, and the Democrat has like 52% of the vote, and you're like, oh shit, like like they win now. Congratulations.
Oops, sorry. So yeah, you never know. Ranked choice voting in a Republican state is going to be interesting. Like to see that happen.
Good litmus test for it, because like you said, Alaska is staunchly Republican. Like there really is no Democratic enclave in the state, even in the big cities. Like they tend to be pretty conservative. So
cities, you mean Anchorage?
And Juneau? Throw some respect on the capital, Jay. Come on.
Anchorage? Fuck out of here. Juneau. I like that movie, but knock it off. That's as far as it goes.
Can we just give Alaska to Canada? Like, I feel like it would make more sense.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Like not to Russia.
Not a single part of Alaska touches the mainland. Like, come on. And I know Hawaii's in the same boat, but it's cold in Alaska. No one wants to go there.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there. I want to cruise to Alaska. That seems cool. Like, I hear it's beautiful, but then like I want to stay on a boat because it's warm. Like, I don't want to get out. I don't want to get off. Like, I'm not a cruise guy at all, but like it seems mad cold up there. All right, next up, 3 GOP senators buck party to back Biden's court pick. So it's exactly the people who you'd think. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitt Romney all have said that they are backing Ketanji Brown Jackson for the next Supreme Court justice, which pretty much guarantees that she's going to be.
Well, in fact, already voted for her, because since the committee vote was split, they had to bring the vote to the full Senate to advance her out of committee, and they voted with the Democrats to do that. So now the actual vote can happen. I wouldn't expect them to change their vote between advancing her out of committee and confirming her.
When is that actual vote? Do you know?
I think it's Friday. Like, I think it's the end of this week.
Oh yeah, son.
So
first black woman.
Now, here's the funny thing, right? So like, listening to some of the Republican speeches was quite hilarious around this, because basically the argument made by the quote unquote serious Republicans, or the quote unquote credible Republicans, as to why they weren't voting to, advance her from committee or, all that jazz, is because while they thought she was immensely qualified, it basically amounts to, well, she's not a conservative, so we can't put her on the court.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy answer. Like, it's you know what it is? It's the scene from Liar Liar. I object. On what grounds? It's devastating to my case. Like, that's not an answer. That's not, like, you can't object on that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Overruled.
I mean, Lindsey Graham literally said that if they had control of the Senate, she wouldn't have even gotten a hearing, which is also an insane thing to fucking say.
Right, because people were just like, yeah, dude, we know. Like, that's not acceptable, It's not acceptable. Like, if ever there is a reason to give a fuck about voting, it's that,
or to make sure that we vote that they don't get control of the Senate, like that.
No, that's what I'm saying. For Democrats to vote, like, or liberal-minded people to vote, like, these guys are just like, yeah, democracy does not happen under us.
To me, it's such an own goal. It's such an own goal, as we've talked about on the show. Like, this isn't the nomination that you had to fucking roll troops up to the front lines for. You really didn't. Like, you could have just let this fucking slide and rolled with it.
Right, but it's one thing and one thing only, Brad. In their heart of hearts, they are racist. Like, they are, dude. Or they are really aware of their racist base. And, like, they can't let a black woman slide into that fucking position without giving her the business. Are you kidding me? They should. You're absolutely right. I hadn't thought about that until you had said it on the show a couple of weeks ago. Like, it was a 6-3 court. Like, who cares? Like, who gives a shit?
You're still doing fine. Even John Roberts is like, I'm going to vote with the liberals. And they're like, who gives a shit? Like, we don't care. Like, vote with them.
Congratulations on your fucking conscience. 5-4, bitch. Who cares? We won. So it doesn't actually matter. So why not, like you said, why not show like fake goodwill and be like, see, like we didn't oppose this at all. He asked some tough questions, but you don't get out of hand. You get the caucus together. You're like, all right, everybody, chill on the pedophile shit. This is fucking stupid. Like, just ask some tough questions. Like, oh, how would you feel about X? Like, real standard questions. Yeah. And then let it go. And be like, look, don't get, like, why would you give Democrats like fodder to be used against you in a midterm? Like, look at these racist pieces of shit, how they treated the first black Supreme Court justice.
Not only that, why would you give Democrats fodder in the eventuality if you happen to win the presidency, but don't maintain control of the Senate? And then a Supreme Court opening comes up and they're just like, and Democrats will be like, let's run back the tape.
Yep.
Now, Democrats,
no. How about that?
Now, Democrats
I do what they did. Democrats would never do that. No, they would never do that. But if I were Democrats, if I controlled the Senate, and they got Trump or some other Republican in there, next time, guess what? We taking that seat. Fuck off. Nope. I'd be like, guess what happened? Too close to the election. I'd be like, but the next election is 2 years ago. Well, this too close to the last election. Sorry. No, didn't do it. Go fuck yourself. Like, just go fuck yourself. Nobody gets nominated. If that's the game we're playing, if you're not in control of the Senate, your person doesn't get nominated. Oh, well, dog. You're not even getting that shit into committee. Fuck off. I would. Yeah. I'd take that seat back. Oh, that'd be crass and fuck up the law. Look, run those stories, dude. And every time the news try to pretend like they forgot, I'd be like, what happened to Merrick Garland? What happened? Cool. We're running the same back. We're evening the thing out. That's it. After this, they get to do whatever they want to do. We're evening shit out. That's it. That was a seat that was stolen from us. And just stick to it. Don't say fuck them. Well, this is fucked up. Yeah, it was fucked up then. You guys didn't seem that mad. Like, so.
Yeah. See, me, I would take that Lindsey Graham thing and be like, oh, word, like that's how it's going to be. Like, cool. So before we have these midterm elections, then we got to make sure then that we at least get all the Supreme Court justices that we feel we're entitled to. So we're going to go ahead and expand the court. Now, again, can't happen. Joe Manchin would never allow that shit to fucking go through. Right. But that's what I would do personally.
Right. I'm a fan of the pettiness of that. Like I am. Oh, guess what? Boom! 4 more people added to the court. Go fuck yourself. All right, go and have your midterms. Like, done and done, baby. Go ahead and watch fucking Democrats come out in droves trying to keep that shit together. Yeah, they will. Yeah.
Or even if they don't, who cares? Like, you just added fucking 3 Democratic seats to the court. It's now a fucking 7-6 court or whatever the hell it is. Like, all right,
fuck you.
No worries.
Yep. Next up, so those three guys, those 3 folks decided, hey, we're gonna back KBJ's nomination. Look, one of the things I thought was really interesting in this article was the quote from them. I'm trying to see if I can find it. It was basically like, look, we're not gonna. Oh, here it is. The 3 said separately that they don't expect to agree with all of Jackson's rulings from the bench. But the senators also indicated that the Harvard-educated judge is more than just likable, a well-qualified and possessing the judicial temperament to do the job. They said she is deserving of the confirmation. But, like, that's all it is, dude.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, literally, that's what advise and consent is supposed to mean. Like, you're supposed to judge their qualifications to sit on the court, not their ideology to sit on the court. Right. And again, you can say what you will about Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, but those were legitimate like contest. Like Amy Coney Barrett had, barely any trial experience as a lawyer. Like, so like you could make a fair argument that she wasn't necessarily qualified. And Brett Kavanaugh fucking probably raped somebody.
Right.
Like that's,
or as Republicans said, have some issues with him during high school. No, it wasn't some issues. It was rape.
Yeah.
It was like legitimate rape. Come on, dude. What?
I mean, most Democrats, like, I shouldn't say most Democrats, a lot of Democrats voted in favor of Gorsuch. Like Manchin voted for Gorsuch and stuff like that when he came up. And the reason that Democrats abstained from voting for him, again, wasn't on ideological grounds. They're like, no, like, we're not voting for this dude because this isn't, is his name Merrick Garland? Well, then we're not voting for him. Like that, like that's like, this is a stolen seat. Like, it's not right that,
and like, look, go back and look at the votes for Alito and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they know they're conservative, but they also know that there's nothing they can do to like knock them out of this because they're qualified. Like, I may not like Sam Alito. I may not like, these other conservative judges, but if they are, and I'm not talking about Barrett or Beer Boy, but other normal conservative Supreme Court justice nominees, if they are qualified to be on the court, it is what it is. I mean, it's literally a round robin situation of who is president when so-and-so dies. That's it. So, like, if they're qualified to be on the court, they have the trial experience or the judge experience and all whatever the other requirements that people feel they need, then that's it. It shouldn't be about ideology. It should be about whether or not the president gets to choose the next Supreme Court justice. Is this person qualified? If they're not, then they're not. Remember Bush tried to put that fucking old white lady on the Supreme Court and everybody was like, no, this woman is not fucking qualified. And that was bipartisan. I mean, most Republicans were like, yes, because of George W. Bush. But a lot of Republicans were like, no. She didn't get bounced out because two Democrats came in and fucked it up. No, dude. Everybody was kind of like, pick somebody else. And he did.
Well, and again, like they keep raising, like, Republicans trying to go back to like, oh, Democrats started this because they keep bringing up like the Robert Bork situation.
Yeah.
And like what is forgotten about the Robert Bork situation, first of all, Robert Bork, incredibly controversial pick. He was the fucking he was the Solicitor General, I think, during the Nixon administration, and was the dude that was that carried out the Saturday Night Massacre for Nixon. So like not a great look in the first place. But what people don't remember is that Bork's nomination was opposed by many Republicans also. And he was voted to not make it out of the committee thanks to Republicans joining with Democrats.
Right.
And then he pounded his fucking fist on the table and demanded a full vote in the Senate. And Democrats were like, cool, you got it, brother. And again, Republicans in mass were like, no. Like, we're like, we don't need this fucking dude here.
Yep.
So no, Democrats did not fucking sabotage the Robert Bork nomination. Robert Bork sabotaged the Robert Bork nomination because he sucked.
Right. And also Republicans did too. Right. Like, again, it's this idea of pretending that Republicans don't do anything so that you can put all the blame on Democrats.
Yeah.
And, I saw a thing today that was like, why, it was the Jen Psaki was being asked, like, why is there so much belief that, that Biden has, lost more jobs than he's created? And she's like, well, we try to get the information out there. Obviously, these are objective things, objective reality. But we're just trying to get the information out there. And I know you could see on her face, she's kind of like, it's your job, right? To tell people the fucking truth. Like, we tell you the truth, and then you assholes are supposed to disseminate the information for real. Like, everyone in this room, you're failing. Like, if the American public doesn't understand something about politics, and it is like a known thing, it's not a black box issue, it's because the news is failing them. That's it. So don't ask other people why the people don't believe the shit. They don't believe it because you're not telling them. You're not.
Yeah.
What was it? When Obama came to the White House, this past week, Fox News literally cut up the footage to make it look like Biden was like lost, like, oh, where am I going? That's like manipulating reality, dude.
Yeah.
So why would people think that he's mentally unstable? Because of lies. Is that Joe Biden's fault? Don't fucking ask him. Why do people think you're fucking dumb? Well, I don't know. Ask Fox News. Like, why are you asking me? You know, so it's the same sort of thing. Like, it drives me crazy. Like, why don't people understand this thing? I don't know, guys. Maybe they should check your 24-hour news outlet.
Press drive me nuts, man. Like, I don't think we talked about it last week, but like, did you catch the clip of when Biden was giving the press conference about Russia, and like Peter Doocy like stood up, and he's like, what's your strategy? Like, what's your plan if Russia does this? And Biden's like, I'm not going to tell you. And Peter Doocy's like, why? He's like, why should I tell you? And Peter Doocy's like, because I think it's, you know, like, I think it's newsworthy. And Biden's like, yeah, we're gonna keep it a secret. He's like, because if I tell you, then Russia's gonna know what the fuck we're doing. So why? Yeah. He's like, it's stupid. Like, why would I tell you that? Peter Doocy's like, I got nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you got nothing because what you said doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, you keep that shit concealed. Like, and then if shit goes down, military weaponry or just sanction them to death, which is basically what they're doing, which is great. Like, it's awesome. Apparently, they're going after Putin's adult children next.
I'll take it. And Lavrov and all those guys, like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Look, like Belarus, you talking shit? Huh? You want these sanctions too? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That would be my attitude. If I was the U.S., I would just be like, huh? I'd bring up like that Staples easy button, like just has sanctions written on it, like shut your fucking mouth. Look at it. Don't make me fucking hit it, Belarus. Don't make me hit it. Yeah, you shut up too. Like, we'll look, we don't have to drop a single bomb. We will blow your whole fucking economy up. Us and the rest of Europe. Fuck around and find out. All right, like that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I would do. By the way, failed Supreme Court nominee was Harriet Miers.
Yes.
Yeah. She was awful. Like, disaster. All right, next up. Right on the tails of Collins, Murkowski, and Romney supporting KBJ's nomination. Marjorie Taylor Greene goes full on QAnon, and she says that not only is Ketanji Jackson Brown, who they made up this whole idea that she's lenient on pedophiles, not only is she a pedophile or a pedophile supporter, I guess,
pedophile enabler,
a pedophile enabler, if you will, as you do. Not only that, but she goes on to say that the Democrats are a party of pedophiles. And she also says that Mitt Romney, Lisa Murkowski, and Susan Collins are being pro-pedophile because they're supporting her Supreme Court nomination. White people are weird. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. What is going on in this party? What is happening in this party, Brad? Speak for your people, man.
Speak for my people. Those are Republicans. I don't know anything about what's going on over there.
Brad's like,
us left-wing whites are not subscribing to this theory of nonsense that they're trying to spew out over here.
I find this fascinating.
Yeah, this is a quite insane. So, like, this is the new tactic, right? This is the new thing for them, is that if you are somehow against the Republican agenda, since their whole agenda is fighting pedophilia, that you are somehow pro-pedophile if you're not in lockstep with everything they do, which is a wild fucking stance to take, and to sit there and call people pedophiles. It's especially wild when, like, the vast majority of notable, like, pedophile or pedophile adjacent issues seem to be happening in one party. And spoiler alert for those of you that may not remember, it's not the Democratic Party.
No, it's not. Let me see if I can pull up this Daily Show fucking thing. Because they have this thing. It's like, oh yeah, it's the clip of Marge being like, hey, Democrats are the Democrats are the party of pedophiles. And then it just cuts to all of these other prominent Republicans. Dennis Hastert, Matt Gaetz, Mark Foley, Roy Moore, Jim Jordan, Anton Lazaro, and Donald Trump hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. And
what are you talking about, dude?
Jeff Rose, maybe, like as we found out this week, representative from Tennessee,
yep,
who probably met his current wife when she was in high school and he was in his mid-40s, most likely. Fucking gross.
Me no like that. Those articles are fucking awful. We'll talk about Tennessee in a minute because get right back to them.
Again, I have to remind you, Dennis Hastert, former Republican Speaker of the House, still has a unofficial Republican policy named for him that they still reference to this day. So obviously, pedophilia, not that big of a deal to Republicans, considering that they still love to bring up the Hastert rule when when it comes to bringing bills to the floor, which is if a bill won't pass through your own party, don't bring it on the House floor.
I thought it was just blowing young boys. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry, we have a different recollection of the events of that bill, or of that strategy. Look, I hate to say it. I hate to say it because it sounds equally crazy, but I think I'm backed by facts. I think the Republican Party is the party of pedophiles.
I mean, so far the evidence points to pretty much that's what's going on.
Let me check my magic 8-ball. The answer is absolutely fucking true.
Again, every attack is projection for the Republican Party. It remains as true as ever.
I just like the Democrats are the party of pedophiles. Like, dude, what? Like one of your guys, one of the guys in the Nutball Caucus right now is being investigated for basically pedophilia and human trafficking. I mean, it's not basically pedophilia; it is pedophilia. Like he was having sex with a 17-year-old girl. Which he was, look, again, like that whole situation is so fucking weird because him and his buddy who were having, I guess, these coke-fueled sex parties with this 17-year-old girl, they are like, we didn't know she was under 18. But then they found out she wasn't, and they stopped talking to her, and then waited till she turned exactly 18 to start banging her again. That's some pedophile shit. Like, like, should we might get in trouble? Oh, now it's legal? Yeah. Like, no, that's gross. That's gross.
And again, it's such an insane strategy because this message does not translate outside of like your nutbag wing. It just doesn't. Like if you bring a message to like regular ass voters who are like voting on kitchen table bullshit that aren't consuming Fox News, for 4 hours a day, and you're just like, all Democrats are pedophiles. They're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
The problem is I think that percentage of Republican voters is shrinking.
Could be. I mean, it doesn't help when you have, Trump out here saying some nonsense. At least he hasn't jumped on this fucking bandwagon, which is an amazing amount of restraint for him, I gotta say.
I don't know, man. Give it like 2 rallies where you got like somebody out there being like, Dems are pedos, fucking sign. And he's like, I bet that. I don't know.
He seems pretty smart about avoiding stuff that if he speaks it out into existence, magically like 8 incidences of shit of him doing the same stuff in the past magically gets unearthed. Like he's seemed pretty decent at avoiding some of that stuff over the years.
All right, Brad. I'm giving it 2 weeks. I'm giving it 2 weeks before he says some fucking slick shit about it. 2 weeks. And once he says it, it's gonna go nuclear. It'll go nuclear. Because everybody who supports him is going to be like, well, Donald Trump, I mean, he wouldn't lie to us, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. But
meanwhile, like regular ass Republicans are just like looking at fucking Caveman Green and they're just like, what the fuck are you doing right now?
Again,
like, what are you doing?
She ran unopposed because her opponent was threatened with violence. I wonder where.
Now, is that a fact? And I'm assuming like her primary opponent?
Yeah.
Yep. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's why they dropped out. Gee, I wonder where those violent threats came from. I don't know. That nutcase. No, she's the worst. But she did say something else this week that I found to be interesting. Shout out to Micah; he will enjoy this story because Marjorie Taylor Greene was at, I don't know, a VFW. I don't know what the hell this woman is, but she was ridiculed on social media for propagating outdated ideas on gender with her definition of a woman. She says, quote, I'm going to tell you right now what is a woman. We came from Adam's rib. God created us with his hands. We may be the weaker sex. We are the weaker sex, but we are our partners. We are our partners, our husband's wife. Wow, she don't speak so good. Okay, this is the part that Michael will appreciate. This is me talking to Marge here. Shut up, rib. Shut up, rib. And I'm allowed to say that because she says that she came from Adam's rib, which is one of the dumbest fucking stories in the Bible. Sorry, it's one of the fucking dumbest ones. It's stupid, and people shouldn't say that out loud that they believe that. But yeah, shut up, rib.
Yeah. Again, if you believe that, you are pro-cloning. That, which is a weird stance for a creationist to take, but that's your call. Wow. That's your call.
All right, so. Digging deep, a deep cut for all the atheists out there. I like it. I like it. You're pro-cloning. I like that. That's it's like that sheep, and then it's Adam's rib, like fucking right there, man. Molly or Dolly, right? Dolly sheep. But I like that. We may be the weaker sex. We are the weaker sex. Like, that's a wild statement coming from a woman. Like, so I saw that we were laughing in the fan group, lookforwardshow.com/fans. We were laughing in the fan group about like which conservative women like we still had the hots for, even though we know they're all garbage people, right? And I mentioned, as I mentioned on the show, my girl back in the day was Andrea Tantaros on Fox News. Politically, just a garbage person. Amazing legs. Anyway, but that's nor here nor there. But she wrote a book where she was like weirdly like in bondage on the cover. It's like, all right, who are you selling this book to? We got it. It was called something to the effect of like, women got what they wanted, but now they're miserable because of it, or some shit like that, right? And I thought about it. I was like, that title is fucking offensive, and right, like, because she's obviously talking about like women's fight for equal rights and that sort of thing. And I'm like, that's fucking offensive. But then I thought about it, and then I realized Andrea Tantaros is 100% correct from a conservative woman's perspective. She is. Conservative women were also totally fine with jumping on the bandwagon of like equal pay and like getting to, get out of their households and like get into the job force after liberal women fought for that, right? They were like, oh yeah, we're cool with that. Like, I don't think my husband should beat me with a broom at home. And I should be able to go do other things, right? They were like, I agree. And they are miserable because they don't actually believe in equality fundamentally. Like they actually don't. They don't actually believe in an egalitarian society. They don't. And so they are miserable because, like, you listen to them talk. Like, we are the weaker sex, and we like, remember, Ann Coulter literally said women shouldn't be allowed to vote. You work in politics. Like, that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say. And she's saying it to be like really controversial and like get headlines, but like, there are conservative women who think that a woman can't be president. Like, quite literally. So, yeah, I think that book title is probably accurate, but it's accurate from their perspective, not for women in general. I think most women are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I think for their perspective, I think they are miserable because they just wanted to, they want the quote unquote simpler 1950s ideal, which, also came with like horrendous fucking other shit, but they don't really give a fuck about that. They've been sitting at the right hand of power next to white men since forever. So, yeah. But, shut up, rib. Like, why are we listening to you? You are the weaker sex. Why, as a man, do I have to listen to you? In the words of a very famous person, go make daddy a sandwich. See, I don't believe actually any of that because that's ridiculous, but that's what she believes. So I'd like to honor her.
I mean, if she truly believes that, why the fuck is she in Congress?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you clear the way for a more qualified man to step in?
See, these are questions I would ask. These are questions Brad would ask if Thugs of News had press passes for DC.
Telling you.
I would, dude. I'd be like, why are you here then?
Yeah. Like, I saw your speech at VFW. So when can we expect your resignation from Congress?
Surely there's a man.
I was like, surely there's a more qualified man, a stronger man that could have this position and be better qualified for it than you, a weak woman, by your own admission.
Yeah. I didn't say it. You said it. Yeah. Now go sit down, Rib. Beat it. It's wild, dude. I will never understand people who will literally advocate for their own destruction. And I fundamentally don't understand it. But again, like the other story, I'm not a fucking moron. So like, I don't really understand how their brain works. Like, I just don't. Speaking of pedophiles,
so to back up your context for the story, many states have the minimum age to consent to be married is under like 16.
If under 18. Child marriage by the UN standards is under 18.
Yes. And Democrats have wanted to change this to be, 18 because you have to be a fucking adult to be married. And Republicans have fought this constantly. But we are the pedophile party though, Jay.
44 states allow this.
Yes.
Including our state, by the way, our state. If I was ever the governor of any state, this would be a number one thing. Marriage changes. Oh, religious groups. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't care. Good. Yo, you go on TV and fight me on it, yo. You go on TV and fight me. I'm the guy saying that you can't get married under 18. You're out there saying, let's go marry kids who are 12. All right, go ahead. No, you advocate for it. You got it.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. I don't understand how governors don't have the balls, and I mean that metaphorically because obviously there are women governors, but like have the balls to push back against this.
Yeah.
It feels like a slam dunk. Oh, well, the religious people in our state are going to be it. You mean the religious pedophiles? What the fuck?
I would go even further.
National,
21 years of age,
30.
And you have to live together for a year minimum before marrying each other.
35.
You want to cut down? You want to cut down on divorce in this country? Make people live together before they get married.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm gonna push it past a year, yo. Like 7 years.
7 years.
7 years. Like it's this. So this law that they're working, or this bill that they're working on in Tennessee, brought up by Tennessee Republicans, not Democrats. Tennessee Republicans, right? Hard to believe, I know, because the other party is the party of pedophiles. I get that. By the way, this is the same week. This story comes out the same week. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying what she's saying. The same week. Tennessee Republicans are moving forward with a bill that would eliminate age requirements for marriage in the state. Eliminate it. The bill, HB 233, aka Marry a Kid, is scheduled to be heard in the House Civil Justice Committee. That's the name they came up with. It's weird. It would establish common law marriage between one man and one woman, but it does not include a minimum age requirement. Opponents of the bill said it could be open to the possibility of child marriages. The current age for marriage in the state is 17 with parental consent, according to WKRN. Okay, there's a number of things here. Obviously, they have a current age of 17. Why would you not include that in this bill? Is beyond me, right?
Mere oversight, Jay. Mere oversight.
Right.
We just plumb forgot.
Like, all right, guys. Did you know you had that? You gonna hit them with an addendum? Like, nah, I don't want. Nah. Alec wrote the bill. It's fine. Right? Doesn't Alec write all the Republican bills? But it also says that it's a common law marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't common law? Isn't that like you just live together long enough?
I think it means different things in different states. Like, I think some states, like, if you live together for like 7 years or something like that, then you're considered to be married by legally, or things of that nature. But I think it varies from state to state.
All right. So in Tennessee, a common law marriage is legally recognized marriage between two people who have not purchased a marriage license or had their marriage basically done by ceremony. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, that seems weird. That seems like they just aren't married. Like, I just like that's just weird, bro. Like, it's a legally recognized marriage between two people if they haven't bought a marriage license or had their marriage done by like a religious ceremony. So that's like just two random ass people. What the fuck are you talking about?
One of my aunts and uncles were common law married. Like, they never had a actual wedding ceremony, but they've been together for like 35 years at this point.
And so like they live in the same house. So yeah, the state was just like, nah, you guys are married.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's like, you're married now. And they're like, all right, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, that's weird, yo. Like,
it is weird.
Yeah, like, why don't you just get married, yo?
I agree.
Like, it's fucking weird. I love you. Then what the fuck? Well, why does a piece of paper have to define it? But the piece of paper don't change. All right, you know what? Fuck it. All right, you guys.
Like, we're just putting it on the books. Like, it's fine. Like
we just want to know.
Does. Yeah.
Like, this is fucking weird. Like, no, fuck that. Like, nah, she's not getting half my Xbox. Get out of here. So, so the bill, again, is common law, but it doesn't have an age, right? So, like, the Democrats are like, yo, that would give an excuse for people to say, hey, I could marry somebody who is 12 or 10. That would be completely within the law.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing as a society? How do we not have a federal law over this? How? What the fuck? Dude, 18, get done. That's it. If you can go, you can't go to war until you're 18. You can't drink until you're 21. Frankly, I think you shouldn't be able to go to war until you're 21 either. But I'm at least like some commonality here, man.
Can't smoke.
Can't smoke until you're 18, right?
Yep. Or 21 in a lot of states.
Right. Yeah, you're right. So here's a couple of statistics I thought were anger-inducing, I think is a nice way for me to say this. See if I can find the stat here. But frontline data shows, now this is worldwide. Frontline data shows girls are more likely to get married than boys while still being minors, right? Between 2000 and 2015, almost 90% of children who got married were girls, and most were 16 or 17 years old. Children as young as, now these are things inside the U.S. Actually, that might actually have just been the U.S., that 90%. But I think that's largely true across the world too. Because pedophilia, dude.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that 10% that are boys are likely just two teenagers getting married, right? Correct. It's not a bunch of 40-year-old women trying to marry some like 14 or 16-year-old dude. That's not a boy. That's not what's happening there, right? It's like two 16-year-olds like, oh, puppy love, and they're like, Mom and Dad, we really want to get married, and these fucking bumpkins are like, okay, that's fine.
No, I'm pretty sure it's, oh shit, we're pregnant.
Well, there's also that. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that most of the time it's probably that. I would imagine that of the teen marriages to each other, the vast majority of those are probably religiously mandated due to pregnancy.
And by religious, you mean a shotgun into someone's back. Like,
yes,
you're gonna
also correct. Yeah. Also correct.
I get it. But between 2000 and 2015, almost 90% of children who were married were girls, 16 to 17. Children as young as 12 have been granted marriage licenses in South Carolina, Alaska, and Louisiana, while 13-year-olds have been married in 14 states. On what fucking planet do you think it is reasonable for a 12 and 13-year-old to be married? If you tell me, well, their religion, stop right there. Their religion is the religion that is pushing pedophilia. no girl or no boy is ready to be married at 12 or 13 years old. That is simply not true. None. Well, they're very mature for their age. Get the entire fuck out of here. You're not in high school. You're not in high school at that point. You're not in fucking high school. But the Republican Party has the audacity to say that Democrats are the ones. Now, granted, it's not the entire Republican Party. The vast majority of the party is like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is fucking crazy. But you have actual Republicans saying, well, the Democrats are the party of pedophilia. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? I mean, you want to talk about Democratic run states and how terrible they are. South Carolina, Alaska, and Louisiana are all Republican run states. And they're out here marrying 12 and 13-year-olds. Explain it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the states that have banned child marriage, the 6 states that have banned child marriage, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and New York, either purple states or firmly blue states, all.
Yep.
So
not
a surprise.
Yeah. Don't tell me Republicans and Democrats are the same.
No,
don't tell me that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. By the way, New Jersey, I'm pretty sure that ended fairly recently, and I think that might have been under Chris Christie or under the guy after him, because I remember that came up and it was like people were like really fighting for child marriage. I'm like, in New Jersey? Yeah, this is a fucking problem everywhere. Nah, dude. Knock it off. Knock it off. So, no, this is a pretty disgusting story, and everyone involved should be thrown into jail. Sorry. Like, if you vote for this, you should be thrown in jail. Just to make sure. Like, just, you got to go to jail for like a week or two just to see what shakes the fuck out. Like, nah, dude. But nothing from Marjorie Taylor Greene about this. Nothing. Because you would think that if you had people in your party who were pro this shit, like, you would call it out. That's how I know that these people don't actually believe anything that they say. They are just partisan hacks. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care about that. And she doesn't care about kids either. As much as they try to pretend that they do. She doesn't give a fuck about kids. Next up, Biden extends student loan freeze through August. You want to talk about this? You were excited about it? Yeah.
So, well, I mean, people have been clamoring for this because the moratorium was set to expire, or might have already expired. Actually,
I think it expired at the end of March. I thought.
Yeah, one of those two. Oh no, it was set to lapse on May 1st. So it was expected to go at the beginning of May. And so the president announced that actually today that they were re-extending it until August 31st, which was lauded by many Democrats.
Let's go further.
I mean, I wonder why they're doing it in such short spurts, because I would imagine that if they can't figure out a student loan forgiveness plan before the midterms, that they're just going to keep pushing it out. Like, I would highly doubt that they're going to go into the midterms without either continuing to extend the moratorium or figuring out student loan relief. Yeah.
Look, it might be what you said a couple of weeks ago, which is like you push, and then it's like, oh, is the midterms next week?
Right before early voting starts. Like, hey, by the way, $30,000 for everybody wiped off the slate. Like, congrats.
I mean,
remember Uncle Joe.
I mean, look,
Uncle Joe and all your friends in Congress.
Yeah, look, it would be Democrats are buying votes, but I'd be like, you're right. And so what? George Bush said checks for $600 to people straight up. Here's money. Like, I'm surprised it wasn't cash. Like, the fuck? Who cares?
Look, Elon Musk got $3 billion to buy 10% of Twitter. America can figure it out for student loan forgiveness.
Yeah, that's right. Fuck that guy, dude. Like I said today, that guy could disappear off the face of the earth tomorrow and never be heard from again. Would make zero impact on my life. Good.
But that's pretty cool. Like I said, everyone's very excited, but of course, everyone's still clamoring to forgive that. Tom Cotton, not happy, called the moratorium an insult, which doesn't fucking make any sense.
To who?
To people who paid their student loans.
Did they pay them like because they still had jobs during the fucking pandemic?
No. He means people before, like people like you, Jay, who paid your student loans like a responsible American. You and Tom Cotton are bros.
Yeah, like we should definitely not help people in the future because people in the past had it hard. What are you, a shitty parent? Like that's like, well, we didn't have dentists back in the day, so I'm gonna knock all your teeth out with a hammer too. Like that, that doesn't make sense. Like, come on.
Again, the fact that your wife just got done erasing all of her student debt is an insane.
We have like a month left, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, is an insane indictment on the fucking like the secondary education industry.
Well, I mean, she has. In fairness, she has a doctorate, so it's like
no, I
it's
get
a lot
that.
of fucking money, right? But still,
I get that. Think about how much. Like, she's probably spent more on student loan payments than your fucking house, or right near. You know what I mean? Like over the course of interest. With interest, yeah, over the course of her career, like that's insane to me.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
That's it shouldn't be that way.
I never want to see that bill. Like, I know what it is, but I just don't want to see it like in real life. Like,
if I don't see it, I don't have to acknowledge that it exists.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. No, yeah, fuck that. Like, you want to look at it? No, don't show. No, don't ever tell me the truth. It's fine. So yeah, that's good. Look, I think it's great. I think keep extending it, or like you said, do get a real forgiveness plan together. Yeah, like, get a real one together. And look, get one that you don't need Congress for, because if you,
or at least that you'll try to, or and again, like, it's kind of like a no lose situation, because if you do it through EO and you get sued and it gets held up and it gets stayed by the very conservative Supreme Court, that's another thing you can point to. Be like, oh, do you want more of these guys on the bench?
Yeah.
Then you better not vote for Republicans.
Yeah.
You better come out and vote for Democrats.
There you go.
So
get your happy ass out there. Get that loan forgiven. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.